Hello, everyone, and welcome to Epic Boon Productions, and welcome to Session 3 Storms over Cerenar. My name is Ro Hilkrug, and I am the Dungeon Master of this specific live stream of Dungeons and Dragons. And with me are these beautiful ding dongs. Say hello, ding dongs.
Hello, ding dongs.
No, that was no. All right. And today we're going to play on our on the next session of our great campaign Storms over Cerenar here. So recapping from last time, our heroes was dungeon delving in Can's Pasadar, a great and a very early, it would seem, ruin that was found in the northern part of the Kalar Sand Sea. There you managed to get in, and Oust got his hands on something that seemed otherworldly. Of course, everything started to crumble and collapse, and you guys escaped the skin of your teeth and have since tried to figure out what to do. And the last thing you decided was to head south towards Staunchflow to get towards the wilds of Kangundi, a great jungle where it is the only place where you have seen some of the markings and some of the places that might have been interesting in trying to identify what the verdant shard is. So that is where we find ourselves. I believe it was in the early morning, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
And you were talking about where you were going to go. So I'm going to let you take it from here and continue your little conversation if you want to.
Right. So, as I recall, we had actually come to an agreement of sorts that we were heading south through the deserts, kind of along the Magnet Range, and crossing the Foote River to then move through the Duchy of Archwith to Staunchflow, where we would then charter a ship. And then move through the Brandover Sea over to the wilds. Is that, is that what the party kind of collectively agrees on? Did we get around to that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we're doing. Right along the mountain range, and then we're gonna through the sounds along the mountain range, and then we're gonna cut just across the south end of the mountain. So we're outside of the territory that I believe. Who's against that? It's Theus. Yeah, Theus is kind of like, we don't want to be too close to there, but we're gonna cut that a little short now.
All right.
All right. In the morning hours of the archaeological dig site, the wind is slowly picking up again as Primus Savannah approaches you, all of you, as you're standing around and talking, and she's looking at all of you, and she finishes up looking at Oust, and she says, "So, Abshon, what is your decision on all of this? Are you sure you want us to go lay low, or?"
You can lay low if you want, but to be honest, I am taking the Imperial edicts into my own hands. I'm kind of setting you off, to be honest. Within your own, for the sake of your own safety, might be worth just, making yourself scarce for the time being. Yes, I don't know what or who may come after certain members of the party, i.e. me. Just for the sake of your own physical and mental health, it might be worth you not being here when they arrive. So, I mean, from where you want to go from here, up to you guys. But yes.
Well, I talked to the rest of the Legionnaires, and we're pretty sure that whatever happened in there, and she points at the sword that you're holding, probably won't win us any favors, to be completely honest.
But you've all had a good run in the Legion. Some of you slightly longer than others. So, you deserve not arrest per se, but just take some time for yourselves, and run away from the tower. But other than that, go ahead.
So here's what I think about this, she says, and she looks you square in the eye as she puffs up her chest and she faces you with her full height, and she says, "Right now, you and I, we have to figure out something, because if they capture me, if the Legion or the Conventicle or someone else who doesn't like whatever happened here, we're going to have a problem. And right now, 2 of our boys is running off to tell God knows who about what happens, and then, well, your guess is as good as mine as what is going to happen with that. So here's my proposition.
Yes.
You and I are not done. We are still in a partnership, and there's nothing left for me if I go back home to the Imperium. That's just going to be more shitty fucking assignments to the middle of the fucking desert. So I'm going to take the money you gave us, and I'm going to hunt down those 2 traitors, for lack of a better word. And then we're going to catch up with you guys. And I will not allow you to, and she looks back at the others, I'm not going to allow you to abandon them either.
Well, I mean, abandoning. I prefer the term paying off. But I mean, fair enough.
And while I admire your patrician upbringing, that's not going to work with these people, Faust, she says.
I mean, it barely worked with my people. Okay.
Well, you got us into this upshot.
True, and I'm desperately trying to get you out of it, but yes, I see what you mean now. I agree with Part A. You have my full authority to hunt down those bastards, and dispense with them how you will. I'll allow you and Abane to think up any particular scheme you want to do with them, but this is what I was suggesting previously, is that until such time that I can reorganize and regroup with the cohort. In that time, you will still be, unless otherwise, under my command, but you will be acting on your own initiative. You are essentially, at this point, working outside of the normal legionary structure.
Are you going to roll me a persuasion or deception check here?
Sure thing.
And I don't know precisely if you're trying to be forthright or not. So whatever check.
I'm being forthright right now.
Right.
It's not a case of I'm just telling them I just want to be in the position that I don't have them chasing me around, not chasing me, but following me around the continent. So I will. Oh, that's not good.
Persuasion of 15.
That's not good.
Prima Savannah looks at you. We'll see. We'll see what we can do, and we'll report back. Don't get yourself killed. I might need you.
Don't intend to.
Here, the court martial.
Well, I mean, I think it's within all of our interests that you be positively deaf about it, if anything. Yes, and believe me, I may need to call upon you and Abane and the rest of you at some point. We'll have to see. But for now, please just keep yourself safe. Stay low. I've given you the stipend that I can for the time being. More money, then we'll work out a way of communicating down the line. But
you see her returning to a more formal kind of military posture, and with a voice with more decorum, she says, "Sir, we are legionaries. Avoiding work is what we do. Sir."
Excellent stuff. Spoken like a true legionary.
That is correct, sir. All right. Final briefing. She points south. She says the Tigers and Rehad seems like they went that way. I'm not sure where to they went, but take care if you go that direction. We'll go east. We'll see. We can catch the others.
We'll be traveling south anyway, so if we do bump into them, then I'm sure we can have a conversation with them there. In the meantime, don't worry too much. I'll find you guys, you folks, should I need to, and just keep at it. And as you said, my ongoing order post the dispatch of these two turncoats, shall we call them, is to do as the Legion does best and sit on your asses. Let our Barney get more fat than he already is. That kind of thing.
I heard that, sir. You can hear him from there.
You were meant to, Secundus. But yes.
Yes, sir. You see the legionaries and the engineers are slowly getting on their feet. They're gathering their equipment. As they overheard the whole conversation, and they're starting to pack up their things.
Now,
and Savannah.
Also, I recommend,
yes, sir.
for the time being, maybe losing the uniforms. Not right now, but until you get into, should we say, not hostile, but different territory, and especially areas where the Imperium has their little tendrils, shall we say?
Yes, sir. I remember.
Excellent.
So I think we have most of the supplies we need. And I will
take anything you want from the rest of the camp.
What about you? What are you having?
What
You're not going to just go through the desert with nothing.
Well, I don't have anything. Well, I don't have nothing. I have something. We have well, you've met our good friend, Mr. Safis here. He has assured us at the moment, and so he will be assisting us in any way he can to ensure our survival onwards. So don't worry about me. Also, I have a feeling that I'm slightly more capable than I was yesterday. Shall we say?
Whatever that thing is, I think you're correct in assuming that, sir. All right. Listen up, you lot, she says. Get to it. You know what we agreed on packing, so get it up to the company. And the legionaries, they stand up and they begin to pack the things. She looks at you, Safis. And she says, make sure they don't sink, eh, Safis? It is a great sand sea out there, isn't it?
Safis agrees, and Safis will make sure.
Very well. So, you are going to prepare for the journey, and I will let you talk about this in a minute, but I just wanted to elaborate a bit on the Sand Sea. Because it's not called the Sand Sea for no reason. The Kalar Sand Sea, the desert you're in now, and I'm going to go to the overland map here so you can see the desert. Used to be a large river valley between the mountains with lots of rivers and like lowlands everywhere. And 3,000 years ago, a magical disaster happened that basically sank the land into a desert, a lot of sand, basically. So, but it's not only called a sand sea as a colloquialism. It is like the surface in the desert is in many places much higher than the old valley ground. So, due to the magical nature of catastrophe, the desert in a lot of ways. So the way people traverse the Sand Sea is that you'll have a lot of shallows where people can walk without any problems. It will be usually like winding pathways that you need desert guides like Cephis to actually traverse, right? And then you will have in between the shallows, you'll have the deeps or the depths. And in these depths, if you stand still for too long or don't move fast enough, you will start to sink into the sand. and there's an awful lot of weird and nasty monsters out there that you don't want to run into. And this is all because of the magical nature of the corrupted magic desert that you're in right now. So it's not just for fun. The desert. It is also a harsh environment, which all deserts are, of course. But that also means that you need to prepare yourself for quite a trip. You have in the desert alone around 200 miles, 210 miles you need to travel to get to your destination, or just to get into the Duchy of Archwith.
All right. Then, Safi's recommendations. See what do we have?
Excellent idea.
I assume the travelers among us, he says, looking over to Bjorn and Theus, are capable of supplying themselves as they made it here themselves. No, do you have? I am aware you magic still right here. Are you equipped with any traveling supplies?
Well, not necessarily. Some, but food and possibly a mount. I'm used to teleporting here and there. This is a trek I haven't taken quite some time.
Yes, well, Cephis kind of motions around him. As Cephis would like to point out the lack of mounts. We will be walking on foot. It is also, to be fair, much safer that way. Usually.
On foot. Oh, excellent. Looking forward to it then.
Yes, unless if Mr. Orst happens to have some spare horses or camels laying around.
Are there additional horses and/or camels around in the wider camp?
No, it would seem that was taken away by the Kalari people.
Okay.
When they left.
I'm going to say that's a no on the mounts situation for now.
Yes.
You might be able to find some supplies that the legionaries haven't been stocking up on.
Yes,
We will need tents, one would assume, also.
Sapis would agree. Though tents can be a tricky thing in sand that moves as loosely as it does out here. That's it. So Sapis would recommend we find any spare food and water. And once we do that, that is really all we can do. It looks like, he says, looking to each of the members of the group, that any weapons we would need are already on our persons. So, water.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mr. Safis,
Hmm?
you see the table in the far end of the camp? I noticed a map there earlier. I have no doubt that you know the Great Sand Sea like your own back, but it might be of some use later.
Savis would agree. If the map is not for the legionaries, then the Savis would take it.
That is a good point. Would the legionaries have access to their own? Surely there's not just a single map in the entire camp.
No, it would seem that the legionaries have their own things. Usually, the map that is on the table over there is a map of Old Kalar, which might help you in some ways, but it is by no means a map of the desert.
Savis would still recommend taking it for a couple of
Agreed.
reasons. Might be would trade. Might be a good thing to trade away at some point. You'd be surprised how many people would pay for something like that.
Also, always worth just keeping an eye on what we might be, walking into that may not be physically there anymore. We're
Thieves,
going through the desert.
Yes, Bjorn?
I noticed some supplies in this tent. Maybe you can help me out. I would
Alright.
like to go to the commander's tent.
Are we allowed in there? Oh, is there some gold still
Of
in there?
course, we are friends with the commander.
Actually, the people who left, did they leave their belongings here? Just like maybe a few gold pieces? Like, they They're not looking for them anymore.
You guys can have a look around for sure if you want to.
Bjorn are heading off to look around at a tent. Sufis will spend his time scrounging around what's left of the camp for any immediately useful supplies, namely food and water, but anything, kind of after that as well, like tinder, firewood, tents, things like that.
All right. First of all, I'm going to ask you guys how many rations and food, and water that you have on your sheets.
Nongla has a water skin and 10 days rations.
10 rations for a skin.
That's not right. Sufis has 10 days worth of rations and 2 water skins.
And Bjorn?
10 days of rations and 1 water skin.
All right. So your biggest concern right now is water. I think maybe Safis should be your what do you call it? Your record keeper regarding supplies.
Unless if anyone wants to volunteer for me.
Yeah. Anyone?
I mean, providing we keep track of what we're each using, and then we'll just end of each day, we'll just do a round. Sorry, end of each day, we'll just do a round. Make sure that we've all got enough for the next day. Keep on top of it, or at least the next couple of days.
My idea was that just one of you have days of food and days of water tracked on their character sheet for the whole group, so we don't need to take it off individually. That was my idea. If you want to do it somehow else, you can do that.
Yeah. I think just tracking it individually for now is fine.
We'll take the first couple of days like that, and then if it looks like it's going to be a major issue, then we can sort of
do that.
I don't know, Sophis, whether you have I would imagine so. You have the means to map ourselves as we continue through the desert, maybe, just in case. If not, then I do happen to have the tools available with me to keep an eye on where we're going from a cartographic perspective.
Sufis is not skilled in the way of cartography. He is, how you say, a trailblazer. And he would... he finds it difficult to map a desert. It is very flat and very not marked.
Good point.
But we'll be traveling along the edges of a mountain range, so perhaps it will be useful. Feel free to keep track. Sufis will not stop you.
Okay. Also, I think it might be worth us just checking how much we can all physically carry.
Yeah, that is actually something I don't think we ever went over explicitly. How intense are we keeping track of inventory carry capacity? Are we actually going to be counting individual weights? Are we keeping track of just vague inventory size or?
No, we actually didn't talk about this. Do you guys think it's fun to keep super hardcore track of it?
I don't think it's an issue in the long term, but I think a 200-mile journey through the desert, it might be a little bit more necessary. But if we need to carry more than 10 days rations each, which we do, it might be worth us just keeping an eye on things.
I think you might want to let's see. I will say you can carry whatever seems reasonable. I would I will tell you if you try to take more than I think is reasonable. I'm just going to look up how much water you need every day, because that is probably the big thing, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
The answer is.
So as the party's discussing the how much room there is, Nonga will look over, and he always carries this big, large sack with him, right? And that's his bag of holding. But as he goes to reach for it, you could see Wolves is running up stones and places them inside the bag. And kicks Nibbles. Okay, get out of here, you damn pigeon! Sorry, my bag can hold vast amounts of storage if needs be. I'll just have to get the rocks out.
Sufis thinks
Also, is there what's in terms of the water supply situation in the camp? Where is the water coming from here?
The water has been van.
Okay, and it's deposited in kind of Bowser's, essentially, somewhere in the camp, I take it, or barrels.
Yes. You have a lot of barrels, and as you go have a look, you see that some of the barrels have been taken, and some of them are more or less empty.
Okay.
But there's ample of water here for you to fill up. But just bringing a casket of water will be very, very
Yes,
heavy.
no, that was fine. Also, sort of strange in the list of strangely specific questions, the material of the I'm probably, well, it might not be the case considering we're in the desert. The type of material that the tents are made out of, is it a water resistant or repellent kind of? Is it kind of a waxed sort of fabric, or is it just linen essentially? Just in terms of whether we can refashion any of the tent material into a water catcher for overnight kind of stuff.
I will say some of the tents, including yours, are made of high quality linen. But I would say some of the other tents are probably made of hide, which could definitely be used for water storage. But you know that there should also be some water skins around here somewhere, right? And bottles and stuff like that.
This is more of a case of sort of putting up overnight to collect water, sort of from a condensation point of view. So just whether we can repurpose some of the tent material into water catcher, or unless we have water catchers in the camp already. I'm assuming not if we have barrels of water brought in by caravan.
Yes, you could definitely probably make some water catches.
Okay.
If it comes to actually creating something, there's magics that I have at my disposal that I may be able to create things, but well, slightly difficult and not capable of being done today, unfortunately.
Okay.
Bjorn and Theus, you are going to rummage around in the commander's tent, is that right?
Bjorn, did you find something?
Yeah, come here, take a look at this chest. Last night I saw there was alcohol in here.
Oh, there is.
I was gonna.
And I know that you have your special bag.
My special bag? Oh no.
Do you think there's room? Maybe just some of these bottles.
I think Nonga was the one with the bag. I don't have a special bag.
Ah, screw it. I pick up the chest.
Like, this is not an alcohol chest. Alcohol. There's no alcohol in the chest. Right, Bjorn, come on. You know that.
Oh, there's definitely some alcohol in that tent.
I'll open the chest.
What does he find in the chest, Oust?
We mentioned first session about Rehat's kind of collection of Kalari wines, etc. So I'd imagine there's probably at least a couple of bottles of some kind of reserve in there. Maybe something sort of slightly stronger.
Oh, you mean bottles
like
of wine? That's
yes. I'd imagine.
I didn't think about
spirit.
that, Bjorn. I didn't think about that there would actually be bottles of wine in there. Like, it didn't look like that big of a chest.
I think it's probably a mixture of Chthonian wines and just whatever the Kalari specialty is, whether it's, I don't know, I always imagine him have some kind of like plum liqueur or something along those lines, something strange. But yeah.
Definitely. Like, he used to have some bottles of his pride and joy, the very expensive stuff he will talk about endlessly but never drink. He has taken that with him. But some of the more cheap whatever.
Yeah, it's all in boxes instead. It's just box wine.
No, it's not. It's in cheapo jars with big corks in it, right?
Fair enough, you know.
Well, I'm just gonna pick up the chest. Oh, that's actually it. I think I'm ready for the journey.
I initially really thought that you thought that this chest would just be filled with alcohol, but it makes a lot more sense. There are bottles in there. How much do you think the bottles will sell? Like,
empty,
just
not for nothing.
You You know, Bjorn, it was much easier when we were in the north and people would just throw coins after us. It's a little bit
Indeed.
harsh here in the desert, you know, especially with people who don't really pay us.
But I saw no money get exchanged. I don't think you was robbed of anything, Theus. It was all a sham. That's the Legion for you.
Anyways, do we find anything else just of value here in the commander's tent?
Uh,
A whole heap of green dust.
Yeah, lots of
I
green
want-
dust.
Green dust.
when you're looking around in Oust's tent, I will let Oust tell you what you find, but the rest of the camp, you could definitely make some rolls for that, right?
In Oust's tent, it's probably there's a sort of probably a bookshelf's worth of various academic journals and history books, etc. There is previously mentioned a chest which is just full of scraps of paper in my own handwriting, just with various kind of ranting and ravings, essentially. There, it's probably just general stuff. Have a favorite shovel, etc.
You have a favorite
There is-
shovel?
Exactly, of course.
A shovel?
What is it called?
What's it
It's
called?
Like
I
a
don't know,
straight
what's it called?
shovel? Like, do
I
you,
don't know.
is Oz digging like holes in his free time or what?
I mean, he's an archaeologist, so
I'm an archaeologist,
yes.
you know, so
that is
it's
in fact
kind of my
literally what
job.
he's looking
It's called Leslie. I also have a pick called Rick. Yeah, they come as a pair. So no, I will
lonely
be taking
nights.
those with me just in case. There is a very nice carpet on the floor, but it is now covered in green dust. And I probably won't be taking that with me because it's quite large. Camp bed,
no.
obviously, the usual. A couple of lamps. Some Chthonian porn underneath the bed. Other than that,
Wood carvings.
you know, yeah, tapestries. But yeah, other than that, just then kind of a selection of sort of. There's probably a case with some formal wear, which has just not been used in a long time. It's sort of just it's probably just sand in the bottom of the box. And then there's kind of my my kind of legionary gear, which is kind of I kind of got half on. I've not got the entire deal on anymore. I've just kind of got the main like and yeah, just general clothing. There's not much of value in there to the outsider, past sort of, unless you have a deep knowledge of academic book value. Academic textbook wise, absolute fortune. But other than that,
So anything you like, Theus? We can put it in the chest.
I guess we could ask Oz if what he thinks would be sell. Anyways, also imagine you like Oz naming his pick and his shovel and spending lonely nights with them and naming them while he does something.
lonely
so
nights
no.
for the tapestries. The pick and the shovel are used only during the day.
Okay, I thought for the night. Okay, but anyways,
Fair.
his tiny night shovel, just in case.
Just
Anyway,
something
you've got to go out into the
archaeologists
sands
here,
to,
right?
Yeah, if the privies
for
are
the
blocked
lonely
up and you've
nights,
got to
for
go
the very
out into the
lonely
sands,
nights, for the very lonely nights. I guess we just asked Oz what he thinks is of value, and we asked him if he could take some with us just in case. Like, we can't really leave it here; like it would just rot around. So just pick up some of these books, maybe this rack here. Maybe it's a little bit of value. I guess the armor, like probably someone will melt it down for some iron. I don't think he will use anymore. From what I've seen with his current relationship with the Chthonian Empire, so just we just take some stuff and we ask him later if it's okay to like liquefy it for much better usage.
can I just walk into my own tent at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I guess
What's
you
going
are
on?
in the
And they're
doorway
just
now.
tearing through my stuff. It's like, oh, okay, well, find anything.
Oz, how much does this thing sell? Just hold up like these different things, just holding it up. How much do you think this will be, and how much this will be? What about the armor? It's books.
Well, the books. I mean, to the right seller, but the right seller would normally be in Caphonia. They're not massively valuable to the common man on the street, shall we say. I'll probably take a couple for bedtime reading, and I'll also take what's under the bed for bedtime reading as well. But that's just don't bother looking in them there. I mean, the rest of the armor you can take it. It's too hot and heavy for me. Also, I see beyond your eye the liquor cabinet. If you could at least leave a couple of bottles for myself, I do need my own reserves.
Of course.
You're free to the rest.
You were right, Theus. Empty bottle is like warm bread here. I already emptied this one. You can have that. Here you go, Ost.
Oh no, no. What's in it? I'd need as well.
Oh, that's too late. This is empty.
Yes. Well, perhaps that can count to one of yours. I'll just take the free, and then you can have the rest. Other than that,
Yeah,
I
okay,
mean,
I'll
be
the
quite
rest.
honest. I don't know these things. I just kind of sort of just put it in the invoice for them at the end of the month. So I'm probably good at my end. If you do find anything in here, then I mean, help yourself, I guess. But to be honest, the Kalari Desert isn't really the kind of place you bring your valuables. Not with the Legion around.
Also,
Alright.
Ost, like, I'm not judging. Why does the shovel have Leslie and Scrap on it? And why have you drawn eyes and a mouth on it?
Well, it's called Leslie because it's my favorite shovel. It's got eyes on it, much in the same way that you've been putting eyes on everything else.
This is not mine, but if you want, I have actually some extra eyes I can put them on. Like,
I'm fine for now. I've only just got the ink off my face from last time.
go on, just take
Anyway,
everything. Go on, just
I'll,
take everything of value.
So I'll just kind of I'm just sort of like blindly, it's a selection of my remaining clothes, 3 bottles of the liquor, and a couple of books. I'm just like, at it. I'm done here. Oh, I'm taking the blanket as well, obviously.
And
That's
the-
not got a name before you say anything.
And the pornography, of course.
And well, that goes in the bag first. But yes.
Beautiful. All right. With that, you guys can put down what you described to take here, and I guess that all small items like bottles and these things can go in the bag of holding. I will.
No, I'm taking the chest.
like the
I'm not
box.
taking. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you'll be lugging around a box in the desert. Perfect. That makes lots of sense. All right. So if you are traveling for 210 miles, that will be 10 days of a normal travel pace, or 7 days at a fast travel pace. That means that you will need 50 gallons of water. 50 gallons of water for Europeans like myself. That is 190 liters of water that you will need to lug around with you.
How many is that? What's that in points?
Yeah, in
So
pints, that would
a
be
water can take 4 pints of liquid.
yes. But a pint is half a liter, right? So that will be 380 pints.
Okay.
So the question then becomes once again:
So we have
do we have
three.
do we have a water source in the camp? Is there like a well, a stream?
Inside the camp still?
Someone roll me 5d100, please.
Right.
We have 3 units of measurement in this group.
In the camp, in the reserves that are left, you have 273 liters of water.
All right.
Liters, yeah.
And we need how many liters for our travel?
2/3 of that we need.
Yeah, you need 190.
Let's just take everything, just in case.
Well, I mean,
Safis would like
That's
to point
a-
out
that's
the
a lot of
issue with
weight.
carrying water is that water is very heavy, and this is why you typically bring camels or mounts instead of looking over it also. Bring on you with your travels to the desert.
oh, I agree. And
Yes.
it might be that we find certain denizens of the desert that might be able to part with their deer mounts at some point. So let's let's keep the old fingers crossed for that one.
Yes, but
Within
until
the camp
then,
as
how do we
Sorry,
deal
was
with
that-
this water?
well, I mean, I was considering whether we might be able to fashion some of that hide into a water catcher overnight, which we might be able to at least supplement the water. Within the camp, is there a kind of a store tent where we might be able to acquire additional water skins? Because we could probably all carry 1 or 2 extra water skins each, just for the initial.
I
Like,
could
what about these
fit
bases?
400 pounds worth of belongings into this bag. If we could
Wait.
fashion it into.
Safis has a similar bag. The issue is you cannot fit barely.
No, but what we can do is if we have additional water skins, we can put the water skins full of water into the bag.
Safis is a capable leather worker. If you find him leather, he can work it.
Excellent.
What? Don't we have any vases there?
Yes, but then you're just carrying around giant pottery.
Yeah,
which
but
is
we can just
as
like
good.
we can just take one of the smaller ones, put like a leather skin above them just to seal them, and put them in the bag of holding.
I mean, sure. Or we could just. Yeah. I mean, if those vases are small enough to fit inside a bag of holding, that's fine.
That is archaeological finds that is on the map. So I think what we're going to do is this: everybody gets to make one roll in some way, and what you want to find or scavenge in the camp, I will set the DC for that. So water skins, which is something I would suspect you to have in a desert camp, is something I would put the DC pretty low on. So tell me, like we'll go through you in turn. So tell me what you're looking for, and we'll see what you can gather together, and then you can make plans or do other crazy shit from there.
Okay.
It's all right. So Oust, we'll start with you then.
Okay. Well, A, water skins. B, additional rationing. 10 days worth of rations, just so I've got 20 personally. And tents. Just whether there is pre-packed tents or whether we just have to dismantle some tents. Not the fancy ones like my commander's tent, but just some of the smaller kind of legionary tents. Just so we have them. You know, we're not going to be in the desert forever. So, other than that, I don't think there is really anything else. Oh, so yeah, it's just a case of food, water, and shelter. Is what it boils down to.
So go ahead and give me you roll with advantage because this is your camp. So give me an investigation with advantage.
Okie dokie. Investigation. Hey.
All right. You find 10 days of food.
Natural 20.
And you find enough water skins for you to bottle up all the water that you have, and put it in the bag of holding.
Okay. Well,
just random jars, bottles,
yeah,
water skins, all kinds of shit. You
So
just find the treasure trove of that for some reason.
So I'm just spending the 10 minutes, sort of however long it is, just going into tents, coming out of tents with just different receptacles for water, and just kind of putting them in the middle of where we're stood. Just like, we've just got all this, and then we can kind of deal with filling it up in a second. But yeah, that's fine. And what's the situation tent-wise?
On your natural 20, that's what you get. You get enough things to carry all of your water, which is by far the most important thing.
Oh, I'm on about just having tents in terms of shelter tent.
Oh, sure. You like a basic tent. What do we call that in D&D? I don't remember. Is it just a tent?
Yeah,
just a tent or two-man tent. It's one of the two.
Yeah, you can go ahead and mark one of you. Okay. Tent that is not damaged. That is fine. You can just pack that up.
Excellent stuff.
All right, Bjorn, you have already found 5 bottles of alcohol.
Yeah, and unless somebody gives me instructions, I'm just gonna sit and drink.
Okay. Then the next one up is Nongo.
Nongo will go to Bjorn. Bjorn, can you roll one of those hide tents up for me and just cram it inside the bag? You're so big and strong. It'd be much more difficult for me to do this.
Of course, small one.
The idea is to use this, and if need be, just create like a, because I know you can't fit a certain width into the bag of holding, but there's no depth to it really, right? So
No,
I
yeah.
could just make a giant hide tube and just dump water in there, and then I'll tomorrow. And then if we need to, we can transfer the water to something that's less fragile.
Well, you have a lot of water skins and bottles and things like that Ost found. So that's not really something you need, but you can. But yeah, Bjorn, if you give me an athletics roll, we'll see if you can fit a hide tent inside of your bag of holding.
Athletics.
You guys with your rolls.
Natural 20. That's another
Wow.
30 on the freaking roll here. Right on.
Do you know the feeling when you buy a sleeping bag or a tent? Like, and when you get it from the store, it's super small and compact, right? But you never get it in the same size
never.
again. Like, you can never get it in the same bag. That is impossible. Bjorn is the guy who like makes the initial folding. It would seem he makes it very compact. You have just a big, long, stupid tube of hide, and you just like throw it down the bag of holding. I guess.
Yeah,
All right,
go.
this is fantastic. Thank you very much. Just so, how much weight would the tent be and the water?
Like
So
this
I
would
keep
be a
track.
four-person hide tent made of, I guess, the goat's hide.
Mhm.
How much it would weigh?
Normal
Probably-
two-person is 20 pounds.
So this will probably be
that.
yeah. Let's say 60 pounds.
60 pounds. Okay. And what about the water?
The water will be in pounds. 546 pounds of water.
Oh, I can't carry that much. I have like 400 left in my bag of holding, so I can carry 340 pounds of water.
Well, 340 pounds will be almost enough for you for 10 days.
Also, we can all carry probably one or two extra on our person,
Sure.
I'd imagine. So I wouldn't worry too much about cramming everything in the bag of holding. Although I've got this portable hole if you want to whack it in there. No, sorry. But yeah, everything else I think we can kind of carry between us, and then just the big stuff we can just put in the bag of holding.
Sure. I would say if you can't put all the water in the bag of holding, that is with things in the bag of holding. Otherwise, it's just going to be too
If we
stupid,
can,
right?
Okay.
well, if we can split what's there between the two bags of holding.
Oh, you have a bag of holding as
Yes.
well. Then yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Are we? Who's got party loot here? Do we even have a party loot?
Let me
I don't
just
think
check
we have one
here. Do you want me to make a party loot sheet for you guys, or do you want to
Yeah.
just have one of you do it? All right.
Just
Oh,
make
I
a
would-
bag of holdings.
Cephas has his own things in the bag of holding. He's just carrying the water because it's what he needs to do.
Sure. I have made a party loot sheet for you guys.
Excellent. I did think of something additional, but we can cover that at the end if you want, once we've done everybody else's.
Sure. You can put down, let's say, so that is 273 divided by 4. So right now you have 13 days of water, and you can put that into the bag of.
Sorry, what was the question?
No, I was saying you have between you 13 days of water supplies.
Okay. Alright.
Actually 14 cells, right? So if you can put that into the party sheet.
Easier said than done.
Did you find the party loot?
Yeah, I have
sheet?
no idea how to properly edit it though.
Why don't we just make a journal entry then? So under players' notes, we could just create a party loot there.
Actually, yeah, under part.
Yeah.
That's way better. Yeah.
Do you want me to create it?
No, I've created one.
Oh,
I got it.
I can't find the party loot sheet.
Yeah, if you go to your journal tab at the very bottom, party loot. And then that's just a text doc that we can fill out.
And I've made you all owners of it now.
Okay, now I see it.
Noted.
So you have 14 days of water, and with the food that Oust found, you have 12 days of food.
All right. From the camp itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you want to look for anything, Nongle? Or are you just busy putting the water inside the bag of holding?
That too, and I remember when we finished last session, there was a little terrifying scene that went on inside of his head when he tried to cast magic on that blade.
Yes, that's
So-
correct.
He wants to continue casting his enchantment on that blade.
All right.
Yeah, which I'll allow.
Sophis.
Yes. Safis was only interested in looking for food and water. He has all the supplies he needs and assumes everybody has everything they need, so he'll just be helping with packing in general.
Cool. And Theus.
Anything of value?
Give me an investigation roll.
Oh, that will be fun. Nope, I don't find anything.
You find a few copper, like 5 copper. It seems like people with them when they left.
Bjorn, please let's leave this desert.
Oust, you were saying?
Sophis, you say the sounds tend to have a sinking nature in some cases.
They do, yes.
Is that correct? Would it be possible to take some of the sort of discarded wood and things around, and just see whether it's doable to fashion almost like sand snowshoes, just to kind of spread our weight a bit more evenly over sand when we're walking, not to wear constantly, but just so it might help ourselves in more tricky areas.
Sophie thinks this is possible, but Sophie also thinks it is mostly unnecessary. The thing with the areas that are deep enough to sink into, these are large areas, and it is best to avoid them entirely.
Okay, maybe
it's
it's not worth then.
It's not the
Just-
worst idea,
just a
but
thought.
it is not something Sophie would do.
Okay, well, I will defer to your better judgment, Mr. Sophis. So there we go.
Alright.
That's fine. That was all the only thing I had in mind.
Beautiful. And Nongle, what spell were you casting?
I was casting Magic Aura.
All right. Go ahead and cast it.
Noggle takes out a little piece of silk and starts rubbing the blade. And mumbles some arcane runes. And cast Magic Aura. He will cast False Aura, hiding any kind of magic on the actual blade itself.
All right. Well, it still looks eerie. It is not a normal blade per se, but
Of course, the idea is to hide it from any kind of magic scrying.
but from scrying, it is now safe.
Yeah, and this should last 24 hours. Nongle will walk back to Austin and hand him his blade. I will need to see this around the same time every day, just to make sure that, well, anyone looking for it can't necessarily find it.
Alright. Sophie thinks this is a good idea. Sophie
Alright.
would also asked. Yeah, I believe
Sorry.
we talked about this before, but do your best not to leave trails of glowing green dust everywhere.
Yes. No. Completely agree. Sorry, I was muted there when I first started talking beforehand. Thank you, Mr. Nongle. What I will say is I do have means on my person to block any attempt at scrying on me personally, and I would assume that. What I will say is this aura that you've just casted. If I was to dispel the blade, would the aura stick? So if I was to not dispel it in the technical take the blade back as part of my pact to the blaze.
You think my magic is so weak that wouldn't work?
I merely beg the question.
Of course it will work. It will work for 24 hours, as I just said.
Of course. I apologize for any doubt that I ever had. Thank you.
And Noggle has no idea if it'll work after dispelling it, but
And I will
easy.
probably dispel it at this point, and some green dust will fly everywhere, and I just kind of kick some sand over it and go, see? There we go.
But Safis thinks it is time that we get moving. Yes, if we are prepared and have taken everything we need, it is best to move early in the day, late in the evening, and then sleep at the high of the sun and the high of the moon.
Couldn't agree more.
So,
Beautiful.
are we all ready?
I'm ready.
Anything else anybody wants to do?
The legionaries, have they left by this point?
Yes, unless you want to
Good.
grab them before you leave. I think they
No.
would have
I
left.
was just hoping that they left in advance of us. Yeah. No, there's nothing I want to do here. Oh, what I will do is I will drag the box with all of my insane scrawlings of parchment into the middle, and I will just light a match and just drop it in there as we leave.
Beautiful.
Just to destroy any kind of evidence. So
Right,
yeah.
so you are burning on the way out. So you are going south from Cerenar as you leave the camp behind you. You spend a few hours just
Before we leave the
feast.
camp, I will be the last that leaves the camp. I will just take my painter's tools, look at some of the rocks, like paint on it. Pandora was here, and then I leave.
Right.
of course.
It's beautiful. As you leave the camp, you go on to the desert ahead of you. As you can see, you have to climb a few steps until you get up to the sand duney kind of sand sea in front of you. As you see, just miles and miles of desert stretching out in front of you. You cast shadows in front of you as the flames rise behind you, as you are setting out on the first steps of your travels towards Arkwitch and Staunchflow, where you want to get a ship. I am going to show you something here. This is the travel rolls, and in order to make exploration a little bit streamlined in some respects, we're going to use this to figure out how you're doing. So each of you can either take for one day of travel, you can fulfill one of these roles. If there are only 4 roles, so that means one of you can help as well at one of the other roles. We have 4 roles. There's the guide, the forager, the scout, the lookout. The guide makes sure that you're on course, and the guide is especially important in the sand sea because you don't want to get out onto any depths and sink down or get eaten by sandworms or desert leviathans or anything nasty like that. The forager looks for food and water. This is hard in a desert, but that will replenish your supplies. The scout will travel a bit ahead of the others and make sure to spot incoming threats, or like warn party. And the lookout will be the lookout during the night. So yeah.
All right. So who's got capable skills for this? I have ranks in perception and survival. I'm +6 for both.
Safis, and Safis.
Yeah, Stuffies can do everything, but you can have to pick one.
Yeah, so
I've got proficiency in cartographer's tools as well,
Yes.
in case that wasn't clear earlier.
Oh, perfect.
Safis will act as a guide for now, strictly because he has very high survival, and because I don't think we really need to stop to forage at this point.
No.
Because we have enough water and food to last us the full travels plus a couple days, so I'm not really worried about that right now.
I'd like to assist that with my cartographer rolls, if that's okay.
Sure.
I'm useless at anything wisdom based, so.
Alright, that's good to know.
Okay, does anyone else have survival skill?
No, Bjorn, do you have survival?
Nope.
I guess Nongo will be the forager.
Like, you can choose not to forage. That just means you auto fail, and that is you don't find anything.
Okay.
I think just a guide, a scout, and a lookout is fine for this first length of the journey because there's no reason to forage supply. We're already swimming in extra supplies at the moment.
Okay. So if we start running out, then we can pick a forager slot. Perfect.
Exactly.
All right.
So Nongo will help with the lookout then.
All right. So you will stand guard when you rest. That is how it is. And who will scout ahead?
Would it be useful when we're scouting ahead to actually be stealthy?
Yes. Stealth is also good. Stealth and perception and other things. This is
I have a hard time seeing what's the difference between the scout and lookout.
the scout is during travels. The lookout is during rests.
Okay, good. So the scout would probably be okay if they are stealth-based just because you're moving, while lookout doesn't have to be stealth-based.
Yes, I think that is a good distinction.
Yeah, scout finds encounters, lookout prevents them.
Okay. Well, I don't have perception proficiency, but I can like sneakily scout ahead.
Safi thinks this is perfectly fine.
All right, so I'm going to call for some rolls then, as you are venturing out for your first day of travel. Let's see. Saphis, please, if you will roll me the survival.
Love to. Once I find survival.
How does Saphis navigate in this desert to keep in the shallows?
24, not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really good.
Sufis, I don't know. It seems Sufis kind of almost has this route memorized. He seems to kind of like arbitrarily, like from the less initiated's point of view, seems to arbitrarily pick a direction that isn't always south. But very often will almost. And if you ever ask him, it's because he knows, like, he can tell the difference in like sand textures, or like when things are getting like a little rockier or a little slopes, like where kind of dangerous terrain spots are, like where kind of like areas of certain creatures are. Occasionally pointing out like the signs of like burrowing creatures in the sand, kind of a little off, swooping so heavily to the west in that like given moment or something. Basically, he basically takes time out of the day to very specifically avoid dangers, because that is how he has learned to travel.
And then, before we narrate any further, who was going to be the forager? Or not? No one was foraging, right?
Correct.
So, who was scouting ahead?
Me. Should I roll perception or stealth?
I would say that you can roll a perception with advantage then, Fierce. If you need stealth, that will shift from being like in the more exploration thing to become the battle thing.
Okay, 20.
The encounter. The 20. you and Bjorn staying ahead of the others. Bjorn carrying around the big box of alcohol, being kept nice and chilled by his wintry aura.
Oh, that's true. Right on.
You the day's travel, as you are gently being directed by Safiz, where to go, where not to go. You're keeping making sure that you don't get surprised by anything. It's a big flat plateau at this point, and the wind is pretty harsh. So just having Bjorn nearby to shield you with the winter and the frost there does help a bit. You see the big flat, you're moving slowly through it. It is very hard to see if you will even go anywhere because it's just so big. There's no sense of momentum in this big flat piece of nothing. Sometimes in the distance out toward the east or west, I did it.
Yay, we
Out-
marches!
out towards the west on your right hand side, you see after a few hours a big black kind of smudge in the distance that just gets out of the sand too far away to hear, just around the horizon, and then you can see how the sand where it lands just goes up in a big cloud, and then it disappears into the depths. A few minutes later, you see the sand just billowing across your face and your body as the winds are just tossing whatever that was.
This session's been
Oh.
brought to you by June.
That's a big ass nope rope, guys. Big ass nope rope.
yeah, that's a danger noodle and a half right there.
That is correct. You do Thea's travel. You do find a bottle half buried in the sand in front of you.
Do you see what I see?
I don't know, the big thing here in the horizon.
Yeah, that too, but that in front, like, just here, there, the bottle there. You see?
Oh, bottles everywhere.
It's not an alcohol
I-
bottle, I think. Do I see what's inside of the bottle?
It is not corked. Are you taking it out of the sand, or are you just like getting a look at it? It's half buried, so it's hard to get a proper view of it.
I look around to my left, look around to my right. No people. If it doesn't look valuable, maybe I should leave it buried. Bjorn, I leave it in your capable hands.
Okay, I put the chest down.
The chest thumps
And,
down
I
into
walk-
the desert.
I walk towards the bottle. And
As
pick it
you
up.
approach the bottle, you pick it up. It's an empty bottle. There's a bit of sand inside of it. But it looks like the water bottles you found in the or that you took from the camp at Camp Cerenar.
It's useless. And I
Okay, throw it away. Yep. Oh no, we have to recycle it. Don't forget, we can't pollute the environment. No. It's a
The
bottle.
sand turtles will get stuck in it.
Oh no. We will get a warning from UNICEF, I assume. Okay, good.
So
What's
you
it called?
see them.
Safis would like to remind the party that we are traveling after other desert dwellers, and if they are dropping supplies such as water bottles, that may not be a good sign.
We are currently chasing after people, and this might. Or are we following them? I mean, I just want to get out of this desert, seriously. And
Yeah, me too. There's only empty
oh
bottles
yeah,
here. We need full
of
bottles.
wine, of alcohol. Just like the time when we were.
Exactly.
Do you remember the time in one village where they just put out like this? They took out this. I think it was a 300-year-old wine that they just took out just for you. Man,
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I don't remember. But it sounds familiar.
well, anyways, if it's not of any use, we can tell the others. But should we tell the others? Like it could be our secret bottle.
I like my secret bottles to be full, so let's just tell the others.
Okay, let's tell the others. I walk back together with Bjorn and tell them that I found a bottle in the sand, an empty bottle. Sadly.
How is Austin Nongle faring in the very windy, hot desert?
If it gets too windy, I'll use mage armor. See if I can block some of the sand from coming at me.
I was going to say, as they're walking back, it just goes back to us. I'm just like, and it turns out it wasn't a dwarf at all. So there we go. I'm probably just sort of. I think Alce is probably fairly used to the heat by now, but you can never be 100% used to desert heat. Just sweaty and just a bit of a sort of mess at the moment. But yeah.
Yeah, Noggle would be using prestidigitation to put like a fan on him, and Nibbles is complaining the entire time, so he banishes him. And
Yeah. But no, I'm probably just sort of under my breath. The dust, not the green dust.
You've traveled at a pretty fast pace for a couple of hours now, and the heat and you waited until the noon sun, but you've put down probably a few miles behind you. Something in Theus' hand.
So we found remains of a junkyard, probably buried in the sand.
Right.
Of a what?
Yeah, it's an empty bottle, and it's. Is there any label on it?
It looks like some of the water bottles that you had from the camp.
It's a special brand. I have seen this in my time when I was traveling to the north. It's pretty valuable. I think we could sell this. Like maybe, like if you know people who would be interested in gathering like special looking bottles and maybe could get them this.
Savis thinks it looks like a bottle.
But doesn't it mean, Safis, that we are on the right path?
It means that there are people ahead of us who knows why, or he kind of like scratches the top of his head for a moment, and it tells us that something is in front of us, and that it might be people, but who knows how long that has been here.
Well,
Safi,
we
see
know
it
that
for a moment.
Rehab and his companions were traveling south when they kind of scarpered from Kanspazadar.
Yes, but
So
we
it
do not
could
know if
just be
this
that trail.
It may be, but a moment. Theus, may I see that bottle? Or may he see that bottle?
Ah, okay. Yeah. Would be valuable.
Safius will take a moment to look at the bottle and specifically see if there's any condensation still inside the bottle.
Well, you know that if it was empty, it would have been a matter of minutes before it was completely dry inside.
Yeah, well,
and this is dry inside.
Right, that's what I was getting at, because if it was still wet, that means there was something like immediately ahead of us. And if it's dry, then it has been here basically the whole day.
It would,
or at least for the collected moisture during the night.
Is there sand inside the bottle?
There was a little bit. I don't know if you put it out, Theus and Bjorn.
Yeah. But so looking at this and having looked at this, Safius will mention. Safius thinks this is not. There is not something immediately ahead of us. If this is a part of a trail for the people that left ahead of us, they are still some day or two ahead. Safius would not worry about it yet, but would, looking to the lookouts and the scouts, would keep an eye out a bit more intensely in the coming days. But aside from that, actually, and Safius will look up to the sky for a moment. You said it's around noon?
No, you waited until noon. I would be around 4 in the afternoon.
I was gonna say, if it was noon, we should rest for a little bit until it's cooler again, but okay. In that case, Safius will keep on walking.
Safius, you know, as you just said, that there are very specific ways to to navigate through the desert. You can't just go out on the depth without a skiff or any kind of vehicle or a creature to ride on that can actually maneuver there. So, be the caravan that was in front of you, the archaeological dig. dig team and the
Correct.
and Rehat's crew.
The question is, how far ahead are they? But Safis would continue moving forward, having warned his party members to keep a little bit more of a lookout in the meantime, and Safis will, while still guiding, will do his best also to keep a lookout, but is guiding a group, so he might not be able to.
You
If it-
press on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if it is the caravan ahead of us, might be pertinent, albeit not ideal, if we continued a little bit longer than we should have, just to see if we can gain some distance on them. They may well have mounts if they took them with them, so we might be able to, set them off us if we were to catch up.
Safis would like to point out that if they have mounts, we would not be able to catch up as we are on foot.
No, but that's what I mean. If we carried on going, into the night or throughout the hotter part of the day, then we might be able to catch up because they'll have to stop at some point.
Safis thinks it is unadvisable to travel during the dangerous parts of the day. The desert skews in many ways, and one of them is overconfidence in one's own abilities.
Well, fair enough.
Yes.
Carry on,
Yes.
Mr. Sappers.
Yes, the sun does not care if you are in a rush; it will kill you regardless. And with that fairly melancholy remark, he will continue forward.
Kind of look over at Nongo. I'm bundle of laughs. There we go.
Yes, quiet, man. It's damn sand.
As you press on, the heat is hard to manage. It's easier for Bjorn or anyone who's standing next to him because it is you're just moist and cool all the time.
All 22.
Easy.
All what's Nongle is? Yeah, it's like less than 40 pounds. Every now and then it'll just jump on the chest. My short legs can't keep up. Carry me every now and then. It's so cool here.
And but perfect. As you're just sand everywhere, it's super warm. Just the sun just baking down on you. You're drinking more water than you're used to. Just trying to figure out ways. Pure water is just dripping down from you as any kind of moisture near you just completely fails to be vapor and just puts you in a weird kind of layer of sweat and water that just runs down your body and into your shoes and just making your socks wet. You have sand everywhere; it just clings to you. It's in your beard, it's in your face because of the wind and the moisture. You're just it's horrible. As you are.
It's important to drink, so I crack up another bottle.
Slow down. I don't think you have enough for the whole journey.
Depends on how long the journey is.
Can I can I just keep an eye behind us, sort of way back in the distance, to see if there's any kind of sand being kicked up just from anybody pursuing / following us?
Sure. Go ahead and give a perception check roll.
Sure. No.
Bjorn, we talked about how numbers work, right? And 10 is a big number. Like, it's bigger than what you have in one hand.
Yeah.
And if you have these kinds of bottles, like you have this bottle, this bottle, this bottle, and if you drink a bottle every day, it won't last for 10 days. Like, it won't even last for one hand.
I'm sorry, are you teaching him
don't
basic
understand.
math?
This is number 2 bottle today. So
Bjorn, would you mind moving
this
ahead a
will
little bit? The steam coming off you, it's really obscuring my view behind us at the moment. It's like a sauna.
Dean, it's snow.
Because
Wait,
he's
so-
cool.
Bjorn looks like someone who was out bathing in the sea and then just rolled around in the on the beach sand afterwards. You're just sand everywhere on your body.
Let me see if I can help. And Nongle will do some prestidigitation, start knocking sand out of his face and everything, just making sure he's good.
It's an uphill battle, but
thanks.
yeah, it helped. after I would say good 6 hours of travel, you're all pretty spent, and you find Suffice you lead them to a small outcropping. Some like the shallows are, for lack of a better words, bridges of what used to be hill or mountain ridges going through the landscape, which is now what you can actually walk on without being sunken down into the desert slowly. Some of them have outcroppings or old kind of cliff sides that you can camp next to, and you find one of these, just a big old rock sticking out of the desert floor that you can camp next to if you want to. It's around. It's evening. The sun is slowly starting to set in the distance.
All right. So he thinks this is a good time to set up camp. Well, the sun is setting. Actually, we could go for a few more hours, and then once it's dark enough, we should set up camp.
Very well.
I don't mind. What I will say is, though, to quote an old Caphonian term, I am absolutely shagged. I don't know about anybody else. But there we go.
Yes, traveling in the desert has bizarre timing. Suffice would admit this. It is awkward to be traveling effectively twice in the day, but it is necessary if you wish to keep a good pace.
Traveling close to Bjorn is actually quite nice. It reminds me of something. It's like conditions the air around you to be cooler. It's quite nice.
I've been traveling downwind all day, so all I've got is the smell. But other than that,
smell of wet bear hide.
Yeah, it's just a wet dog smell. But never mind.
So you're setting up camp here.
I think because we set off later than we would normally in a travel day today, then I think we stop here and then we kind of just reset the. We're essentially on like desert travel jet lag today, I think, and then from tomorrow, if we take the your advice, Suffice, in terms of the travel only at the kind of the cooler parts of the day, we might be able to make more headway in terms of distance.
All right. Yeah.
So we just we'll if we get our heads down early and then wake up earlier before the sun's high, and then we can do the 2 rests during the day once we're up.
Fizz, go ahead and give me a nature check, please.
Nature check. Second.
Nature. What do you say? Check or roll?
I say either. It's fine. I was just looking for my skill check. There we go.
Can I give an assist?
Say 22 for me.
Don't need to.
You look around. You see behind you. You see the steel peaks, and to the left of you, you also see the steel peaks. You look around. You would say you put up a good pace. You travel by with a fast pace today. You probably going to move the flag that symbolizes your group 50, like 1 square. If you traveled a full day at a fast pace, you can go 20 miles.
Okay.
But with that said, if you do that in a prolonged amount of time, you will at some point suffer exhaustion.
Well, Cephas is not particularly pushing people, but he just wants to make sure everyone kind of gets on that, like, moving at dawn, sleeping at noon, moving at dusk, sleeping at midnight, moving at dawn cycle, because that's what you need, how you need to, like, move during desert travel. Otherwise you just die of heat stroke or frostbite.
Yep, it's a horrible place to be.
It is.
As you excuse me, as you set up camp, you eat some food. If you can please mark off food and 1.5 days of water, please. As the sun is slowly setting in the horizon, you make a small campfire, and the temperature drops significantly after a few hours, and you begin to huddle together for warmth in the tents. And just you go to sleep. Do any of you want to do anything or talk about anything before the next day?
mine and Nibble's meal, like
Just
usual.
to confirm, we're taking the water and rations off our own one first, or the party loot?
I believe the party loot would be best.
The party loot we have
The party loot includes what's we've got on our persons.
yeah.
Ah,
Oh, it
gotcha. Right. Yeah. So
So who wants to track the party loot right now?
Urkel.
Okay.
Urkel, rather.
So
we just mark off 1.5 for water.
what I will say,
So-
considering Ost doesn't need to sleep, I'm happy to assist on the lookout rolls as well this evening. 'cause we're on
Should we
Thursday.
only do it like one roll each day, just because you already helped in the game?
Didn't help on the original guiding, I don't think.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
rolled with
So-
advantage.
Oh, you did roll with advantage. Okay.
Yeah.
No, in which case I won't. That's all right.
all right. So now it's just Nongo. You're standing guard.
Okay. Can I do this passively?
Sure. What's your passive perception?
21.
Beautiful. So how does Nongo passively keep a lookout?
He doesn't. Like his idea of a lookout is like really not looking out, and he's just kind of being aware of his surroundings, right? So yeah, he's got the observant feat, so that would give him a +5 to passive, which would basically mean I need to roll 15 or higher with a regular check. So this way, it's going to be a 21. Dead to rights.
That's right. All right. So you the rest of you go to sleep after cleaning up some food, some of the dried fruits and meats of the local rations. The desert gets very cold, but it's also very beautiful. You have an unmatched view of the stars as you're just standing in the middle of the plateau, just looking out. You can just see horizon all over, the mountains behind you, and then just a field of beautiful, completely filling out the night sky. You have down south, it seems like you see at some point like a small flash of some kind of light, fire maybe, but it's very far away. At least 10-15 miles, you would guess. But such a flat area as this is hard to evaluate distance anyway. You see a shooting star. And otherwise it's just the desert that slowly comes alive around you. You can hear small insects everywhere that starts getting up, and small croakings of kind of crickets, like desert crickets. Lonely sounds, calls, but nothing really coming for you in the night.
All seems safe here.
Nothing happens the first night as you wake up and you pack up in the morning. How do you want to proceed the next day? Are you going a fast pace or a normal pace, or changing up the?
And we get to full rest, right?
Yes.
Yes, you get a full rest.
So Safis would recommend just moving at either a fast pace or a normal pace. He does not think changing the rules around is particularly important at this point.
What I will say is, considering it kind of feels like there is really no point in me assisting your tracking rolls, and surprisingly, I do have proficiency in survival. I'm happy to do some just extra foraging today, just to keep the stocks up, so we can eat from the fresh stuff and then keep the supplies, just in case.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Alright, so then the only change to our schedule will be moving at a normal pace, and Otst will be scavenging as opposed to helping Sophiz with guiding.
Okay.
I'll also spend I'll spend 10 minutes and cast Fabricate, and I'll create a better container for the with the hide.
All right. You can go ahead and mark that down. And then as you pack up camp, the sun is rising, and you and the heat is getting back quickly to the desert. You let me go ahead and give me 2 guide rolls. Got 2 survival checks.
Yes. Finding survival. There it is. So the first one is a 27, and the second
Sure.
one is a 25.
Okay, that's pretty good. Go ahead, Theus, and give me 2 perception rolls
All right.
for the scouting
With advantage.
with advantage.
Okay, you've got my back, Bjorn.
And I'm not
And
gonna
it's not
drink
enough.
today, Theus. You see, I got this last mushroom from way up north. And I think today is the perfect day for that.
Please, and I'm so distracted by looking at this mushroom that Bjorn brought that I'm not looking around me currently. I'm fascinated by that mushroom.
You roll a 13 and a 7, 15 and a 7. Okay. I
Like
need
that mushroom. Where did you get that?
Oh, I got it from my friend. He keeps all the best to himself, but this one I snatched it out of his satchel.
What does this do?
It makes you see nice stuff.
and let's see a foraging roll for 2 foraging roll from Faust.
That's survival, yeah.
That's survival, yeah.
That's the first one, which is a natural 1 and a 5. So a natural 1 on that one, and second one is a 2. So that's a 4 and a 5 total. Good job, we got supplies.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually,
And
I can.
still looking out passively in the night, Nongo.
I will passively look out. Yeah.
And you are traveling at a normal pace, just to be clear on this.
Yes.
All right. The next 2 days of travel goes ahead more or less uneventfully. The desert stretches on. It gets boring real quickly. Just going on a flat surface, but you can't go straight. Specific paths that Saphis expertly just calls out as you're walking. The first day of traveling, Theus and Bjorn, you are vigilant. You see more of these things in towards the western part of the desert, away from where you are. You see sometimes some vultures overhead, just circling above you. But the next day, you lose focus. On the first day out, you managed to spill a whole day's worth of water
Oh,
as you are trying to get some water up, and you destroy a few bottles in there.
Being the daily stuff on the party loot as well, by the way. So
Yeah,
I've knocked it down. So we currently have 9.5 days of water left and 10 days of food.
But after that incident, Nongle's new water skin solution, you make sure that won't be able to that won't happen again.
Yeah, it's like 100-foot long tube of water. It's fantastic. I mean, really.
It's just a big water sausage.
And all we have is we just need Bjorn standing next to it, so when we remove it, all the water comes out nice and cool. It's quite nice, actually.
Small things. At the end of the second day, Theus, as you're walking, talking to Bjorn about the mushroom. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
And the best thing is that you don't feel anything when you eat them. It's like you go totally numb.
Do you think we
love that
can mix
feeling.
some of it? Like, do you think we can mix some of them in just like as a prank, you know?
if I had more, but this is my last one, so we gotta go talk to Mima, and it's quite far. So, but it's a good idea.
At some point, maybe we find something similar.
Theus, go ahead and give me a dexterity save.
All right.
As you are
That's a
talking
12.
with that 12, yeah. As you're talking with Bjorn, you're walking ahead, and you almost trip on a piece of wood lying in front of you that you completely managed to. As you stumble over it, you regain your balance, and then you look around you, and you just see 2 dead horses lying maybe 300 feet away in front of you. You see a completely destroyed wagon and water bottles, bags, kind of equipment or just spread everywhere. The sand is just slowly creeping up on it, just slowly burying it. The rest of the group is behind you guys.
Guys, I think I have a bad news and good news. Do you want to hear the bad or good one first?
Oh, good first.
Oh, I found the people that were escaping from us. And now the bad ones. I think something killed it, and I don't want to be near it. What killed them? So,
You don't see any bodies of humanoids. Only the pack animal, like the beasts of burden.
Okay, they seemingly they died, stood up, and ran away.
Safis thinks we're jumping to conclusions, but Safis will take a look. Everybody wait here. And Safis will click his heels together quickly and fly off with his eyes of the eagles and kind of just take an aerial view like an eagle of the area.
Did Nongo relay back about the flash in the distance the night before?
Was I the one that saw it? Oh, you mean a star?
Lookout.
Yeah, there was a star.
There was a shooting star, but there was also a flash like 10, 15 miles away. Unless I've misconstrued the both.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. How far into and the distance we've come from where we were to there? How do they match up?
Long past that point.
Okay, cool.
That's maybe where you camped yesterday. Maybe around there.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Safish, your boots are flying, sprout wings. You get up. The strong winds instantly takes you as you're getting out. Get a bird's eye view of everything. Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Because I am using the eyes of the eagle, I have advantage on this.
Go ahead with advantage then. All right, so that's 29. 29. Sands are constantly shifting due to the wind, so if you want to get a better idea of what happened, you have to go down there and actually search. But it looks like it looks.
Hold on, I just
want
to read what the eyes of the eagle do explicitly. While wearing them, you have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight in conditions of clear visibility. You can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across.
Let me continue to tell you what you're seeing, because what you're seeing is definitely the caravan. You remember the equipment, the pack animals, and some of the things that are strewed around here. You remember them from Can's Passadar. This was definitely the diggers and recap group that went this way. That was attacked by something. They killed all the beasts of burden, it seems, or at least some of them. But all of the humanoids, corpses, and people have been taken. Which in this neck of the woods can mean a few things. Because of the wind, there's no tracks left. There's a lot of things that would be buried. So that means that even though you can see details, most of the things you can see right now is just sand, like halfway covering a dead donkey or a wagon. You see indentations, swords, and battle on the wagons. So they have definitely been attacked by something with weapons.
All right. And were there supplies behind, or does it seem that the supplies were generally taken along with the people? Like, are these carts or
Generally taken along, like things that like tents and books and maybe a few like personal belongings were just left, but all food, all water, not the beasts of burden.
right? All right.
There's nothing in the area. Whatever hit this place, you can without going down and actually doing tracking. You can't tell when this happened, but there's nothing you can see in the distance right now.
Right.
Even with your eyes of the eagle on.
All right. Then in that case, Cepheus will like to his compatriots and begin to inform them of what he's found. Cepheus sees this is the caravan that left ahead of us, and it is, to be put bluntly, slaughtered. It seems that they were attacked by raiders, bandits, slavers, who knows, and that the people were taken, and that the supplies were also taken. Cepheus does not see any trails or roving bands in the distance to say where they came from or where they are going, but Cepheus is worried.
Do you think we're in danger?
Always. If you mean in particular, possibly. It seems suspicious to Cepheus that they are gone without a trace. All things considered, Cepheus might suggest we approach carefully and examine how long these animals have been dead. It is possible that they have been here for a few days, though who knows. It is also entirely possible that this band of marauders fell into a sandpit somewhere along the line and they all died horribly.
Naga will look towards Ost and Bjorn and will cast Aid on them. I will do this at 5th level. So you guys, on Nongol, Ost, and Bjorn, you guys all have 20 maximum hit points. I will also use a extended spell for that as well, so it lasts 16 hours.
So yeah, you can go ahead in your sheets and put down plus 20 maximum hit points, and then heal yourselves by 20 after that. How does it look when Nongol casts this particular spell?
He opens up his big spell book, the one that he straps on his back, and he tries to disguise it as more of an arcane kind of language, but he grabs a little piece of white cloth and kind of like towards you, pretends that it's arcane, but it's definitely some sort of divine magic. And as like the as the cloth is waved towards the three of us, there are a little glimmer of golden sparkles kind of shower down on top of the 3 party members, buffing you.
Björn is looking with big eyes, like really doped out and very impressed.
Much appreciated.
Yes, well, that should make you a little bit more resilient.
Of course.
So,
Right.
Cepheus, you think The horses are sleeping.
No, they are dead. It seems that the pack of animals were slaughtered, which again is strange to Sahis, because why take prisoners and not their animals, especially if you were to take your supplies. Safis is concerned with this area ahead of us, and if he had the choice, we would have it's what is more worried about what lays ahead.
So are you
Should
going
we
to
search
go
the
and...
sites?
Safis thinks he kind of like pauses for a moment. And he kind of like looks around at the and you can tell he kind of had this. He has this look of like, man, I really don't trust these people to do this carefully. Safis will fly ahead for a brief moment. Would ask that you please remain at a fair distance. Safis is now worried that maybe there is something lurking under the sand. And thing that killed the caravanners at the very least, something that was attracted to the rotting carcasses of the mounts. So Safis would like to go and take a glance at this if nobody has any concerns.
Lead the way.
Go ahead. And I'll summon the verdant shard as well while I'm at it, and then kind of just kick some sand over the green dust that's created when I do it.
You could just hear the small hum just...
If we are
of the
going for a fight,
shards.
just in case, I would have started and look all around you. And we have not known each other for a long time, but I will say that this is your moment. You gotta own it. You gotta fight for the right to belong to you. Our justice morning us open. And I know we the future, rightful culture, and I will inspiring leader, everyone.
Beautiful.
For
I fucking love it every time you do that, Leon.
All right.
15 points. Okay.
Do they so
Yeah,
with
so-
aid, are they aid isn't temporary hit points, is it? It's just max hit
No,
points.
Aid
it's
is max.
bonus
hit points.
max.
So you guys will have plus
that's
20
stacks.
hit points for 16 hours.
And then an additional 15 on top of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
additional
10.
15 temporary hit points, yeah.
So when you add your maximum hit points, you're gonna have to increase your hit point total. But when you add your temporary hit points, it'll automatically put it on your token, so you don't have to actually adjust your hit points for that.
Actually, there is a slot for the
Yeah, there's bits underneath, and I put 20 in that one, and it didn't affect my total hit points.
Yeah, if you put 20 in max, you have to increase your hit points as well, because it gives you an extra 20 hit points, but also heals you for 20 hit points as per the aid spell.
okay.
And then
Okay,
temporary hit
so
points is
so-
where you put the 15, and then that will automatically subtract from the
Okay.
hit point bar. Shits and giggles, I'll also put up a see invisibly spell on myself as well. Just because you could never be too careful.
All right, so pulling out all the stops here as Safiz sips ahead through the blowing sands of the Kanskala Sand Sea. You get closer. How do you investigate this?
Once again from the air, because Safis is legitimately concerned that there is something lurking under the sand, like some kind of ambush predator. He will first kind of float up and over towards the pack animals to see if they have to see what killed them specifically. Were they, executed? Did they just get caught up in the battle? Was there like some kind of like AOE effect, like a explosion of some kind? Or did like an animal come up and abandoned? Like it wants to identify how these animals specifically are dead or died, and what has happened to them since they have died.
Go ahead and give me a new perception check, please.
Perception, all right.
With
Continuing to wear
advantage.
continuing to wear the goggles. Yeah,
Beautiful. Yes.
as a
And-
29.
Another 29.
Nice.
As
Safis
you
has very good eyeballs.
Yes.
your founded paranoia is guiding you on this as shooting left and right, scanning the area, trained, looking for indentations. You are very sure that there's nothing buried here, and whatever attacked this has left.
Right.
It is hard to determine anything specifically because of all the sand blowing over. It is hard, but But I will say that one of the horses in front of you, you see, have bruises from what looks like some like a spike. And you see a big wound in the side with kind of dark green tendrils going out from it. You've seen this before, and you're pretty sure that this was a Trincali attack.
Trincali, yes, the ant beetle.
Trincali is the scorpion people rather that has come to the desert after the sinking of the Kalar Valley. The Trincali are hunters. Proud hunters, and they are also divided in clans. They roam the Sand Sea as nomads, and you will and you have once or twice met some of these, but usually they are very aggressive and they will try to capture people to eat them. Usually, it is weird of them to bring all of the people with them. The thing is, if they poison their prey, you can get paralyzed from the poison, and that ruins the meat somewhat for them. Like, they will eat it if they have no choice, but usually, from what you have seen, they will leave poisoned prey and try to capture capture their prey without them. Or this to give you an idea, right now this looks like a Slinkali attack, but something is wrong. Like the typical signature destruction of wanton, just death, like bloodlust, it seems not to be there. It seems to be a bit more organized, a bit more thought out.
All right. Seeing this now, Cepheus will once again return to the party, and upon landing, Cepheus has taken a closer look, and it appears the caravan was attacked by Chikari. For those of you who do not know, the scorpions, they are cannibalistic in nature, and they got emotions to the party in general. Eat and hunt whatever they find in the desert, people included. But it is that they would use their poison here, because their poison, he kind of like moves with his hands for a moment trying to find the words, it damages the meat, our meat. So it seems organized, a little more organized than it is typical among these people, and it's no worries, Sahis, especially considering we do not have a fast way out. Safis thinks this is right. Safis thinks we should in fact pick up our pace significantly. The faster we are out of their patrol territory, the better. Can the rest of you?
Well, perfect. Get close to me.
Me?
Yeah, sure.
Very well. Travel
Pick up
forward.
the pace.
All right. Now, Safis with the and it is. We are, how do you say, in the very thick of it now. And Safis will kind of, turn to begin leading the group once again, and scorpion folks for raids and for kind of ambush sites of like creatures buried in the sand or hiding amongst rocks and things.
You can, if you want to, go ahead and have a look around the attack site. If you are lucky or diligent, you might find out more about where they went and how many they were. But
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just go ahead if you want.
Moving past, if anybody wants to stop by the attack site and put in the extra effort to try to find signs of their travel, that's fine with him. He'll wait, but he wants to push on.
I don't particularly want to hang around in case some Scorpion people come back, so I'm quite fine with just carrying on.
Well, you are the guide, Cephis. If you say we must press forward, we will do so.
I agree. We listen to
Alright.
our guide. Do you think straying off the path would be bad news for us? Then why would we do it?
Cephis will nod. Cephis is happy to know that people follow guides. No.
Well, be careful.
Yes. Follow Cephis, and he will begin walking once again. This time, kind of leaving his eyes of the eagle on now, as opposed to when he has them just kind of hanging around his neck.
As you are pushing on a few more hours and you set up camp, is there anything specific? You haven't seen anything. They are probably well ahead of you. Thing you want though when setting up camp at this point, or
Cephis, for his part, will take the time to set up some alarm spells around him, just like around the camp in general. No, so that's the best he can do.
okay. Give me let's see here. I will say in this case here, Theus and Bjorn, give me a survival check, both of you, please.
Survival.
20 from Theus and an 8 for Bjorn. Alright, Alright, that was just for me. As you put up camp, you put up the alarm spells, and the next morning you're ready to press on again. Were you increasing the pace?
Yeah, yes, we
We
were.
got out of the area, weren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll defer to everybody else on pace. So, yeah.
The faster we can get out of this desert, the better.
Do you want to do anything differently?
Yeah, because I was
Specifically
sober
scouting?
yesterday. I'm gonna drink a lot today.
I see.
Okay.
Any other scouts or any other roles?
I'm going to try and forage again today, but other than that.
Perfect. All right, Safis, please give me a survival check.
All right. 25.
Was it 5? Okay.
He knows where he's going. Also,
Well, we picked the right scout.
yeah, right. Also, though, before you decide how far we're gonna move for the day, Safis would like to recommend we pick up the pace and move at a fast pace for this day. Does anybody object to this?
Not at all. No?
No?
All right, then DM, the party will be moving at a fast pace
Yes,
for this
sir.
day, and probably for the next couple days, to be honest.
So that puts half a day extra on our water per day. Is that correct? Going at fast pace.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
correct.
this is
I'll
the
keep track.
so,
Yeah, that's fine.
so yeah, starting at the third day, that day will be a fast pace, and then as days goes on, we'll just see if we can keep that pace up safely. All right.
Okay.
As you are traveling by a fast pace, Bjorn and Theus, you're pushing out in front, and you have to stop occasionally to look back at Safis, who will like direct you, so you don't wander into the depths. Please give me a perception check with advantage, Theus.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. As the morning goes pretty smoothly. You have your midday rest where you put up the canvas and you try to get some shade from the sun. Already from the first 4 hours of traveling, you can feel the it is much harder to travel at a fast pace, especially in a sandy environment like this. After that, you push on for another 2 hours, and then you see in the distance, as you go up in the top of the sand dune to just get a bit of an overview, you see a few miles ahead of you a small kind of object with a sail on it. And the mast of this small boat has been cracked, but in like around what is now the top of the cracked mast, you see someone waving a flag.
That's bait.
John,
Uh,
do you not see what I see?
yeah, I was about to. Is that a boat in the desert? Man,
Theus, go
what's
ahead
in
and
this
make a
wine?
history roll, please.
Who make a history roll?
Theus, as Theus is the one seeing this. A roll of 20. Theus, you have not. You know that the Kalari people is a bit weird, and there used to be a lot of rivers traversing the land that would all meet in the middle at the old capital of the Kalar Valley, which was the Matifun, the city of Matifun. By the rivermen of the Sultan, and even with the sinking of the Kalar Valley, the rivermen they continue on doing their duties, and they still patrol the shallow places to keep to send news back to Kans Medifun and Hima Corral about bandits and raiders. They are traveling in small sand skiffs usually, and
Like the
this,
ones for Avatar.
I have not watched Avatar, but sure, definitely.
Oh.
Although you have never met these, you know that these are usually well, the closest thing a big, stupid, honking, large desert gets to law enforcement.
Desert cops.
Desert cops.
Okay, let's take a big circle around them.
No. This is perfect. I'm
Mr.
almost out of
Sophis.
wine.
Perhaps you'd like to advise as to the approach here.
The rest of you catch up and also see this man. He's wearing a white flag. Safis, you also know about these rivermen. You have met quite a few, and they are usually the kind of people you want to keep in your company. They travel the sand sea on the sand skiffs, and they can actually traverse the depths on these skiffs. And these are the ones keeping an eye out for slavers to warn all the clans about where not to go and what areas to avoid.
Right.
So you would probably, being from this area, see these as the good guys, if it is indeed a riverman out there.
And to that degree, Sufis will do the thing he always does and use his definitely not just a normal pair of binoculars to look out and kind of get a better view of what this man looks like. Like he's waving a white flag of sorts. Does it look like he's stranded? Does it look like something around him?
You see the main mast holding the sail has cracked. The rigging is broken. And they are stranded. They are just out of a shallow. And you see an adult man and a 14-year-old boy around that age. And they look like each other. So this has to be father and son. And you see another man being stowed away under like in the small hut on the sand skiff.
Right.
And you see blood on his clothes. At least on the pants that is sticking out.
Right. Safis will, well, Safis hates to move ahead of the party again, but it seems if we want to rescue these people, he's just kind of motioning with his hands, if indeed we do want to rescue these people, a little bit of flying and some rope would be our best assets.
Some caution, Mr. Sophis. This
Always.
seems like bait more than anything else.
Safis agrees, but is willing to risk it.
Would we have any idea of like how many people it normally takes to crew one of these skiffs? And like, is the 3-person crew, is that normal?
They're usually out in pairs, and then when they have an apprentice with them, they will be 3. It's not a big. It's a boat, really. It's It's not very large.
Okay.
And
But
with
there's
that,
several
I
reasons we
think
should go over to them.
Safis seems
First
so
of all,
cautious.
they might have alcohol. Second of all, if they can't like control the ship, we should liberate the ship from them. And third of all, if they have alcohol and need help, then we can help them, of course. I see all this scenario.
Very tolerable approach that he finds using. If you would hold on to this end of the rope.
Yeah, of course.
Safis just like kind of starts pulling basically, a 50-foot length of rope out of his the little satchel he has on his hip. How far away how far into the deeps are they?
not super far, but further than 50 feet. Probably.
Well, yeah, but like, are we talking a couple hundred?
We're talking maybe 500 feet. But
500
with that, and you can think about how you're going to do this. We're going to have a break before we go into the next scene, and I will say we will take a 15-minute break. How does that sound for people?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Is that enough for you to get some food in? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Perfect. So with that interesting little thing, we will see you all in 15 minutes time.
All right.
Cool.